Big Al.
Hello everybody, it's Big Al with some more content for War of Nova. On this video I am going to talk about DarkFang. And this is kind of a guide suggestions by me and my thoughts on DarkFang at a lower level. So let's take a look at the ship. Okay. Kind of cool, kind of reminds me from Star Trek. I forget one of the ships in Star Trek from the old ones from like the 90s and 80s. But anyways, so you got your basic stats here. Mine is currently mastery level 4. So I'm going to talk about mostly how I'm going to build it for my current mastery level, and then maybe throw in a little bit about if you have mastery level 5. Ignore the officers at the moment. So, Dark Fang is best known for its farming. It is a good farming ship. It used to be it used to be godlike, I guess, but then they nerfed it. That was before we got here. But let's take a look at the tier 1 abilities. And this ship I am only going to use for farming. I am not going to use it for fighting. So first I'm going to start with the bottom skill tree. First, competent crew. Capital ships power 15% and then initiative 15% during battle. And then I get an extra leader 15% or extra 15 leadership. I'm going to actually, let's go to this skill. Vampiric attack. One allied unit recovers 80% hit points on round start. So that's 80% hit points every round. That's huge. But it's also only on one allied unit. So to me, that's telling me I'm going to mono stack it, meaning only use one unit on it. And I'm going to use a beefy tank unit. The other skill is 2 in the chamber. Against 2 enemy strike craft deals 80% standard damage. And that's at level 4. That's why it's 80%. It's 20% per level. And it triggers on 3, 6, and 9. So it's a standard attack. Okay, so he needs ship power. Okay. The top one, exploit weakness. Enemy strike craft defense minus at 7, it's minus 4. And then if you max it out, enemy long range units damage dealt minus 5%. So it's a stat reduction for the enemy. Next, I'll go to stunning shot. Against 2 enemy strike craft, 10% chance to inflict stuns for 1 round. Triggers on round 4 and 8. So this skill, it only fires off there, and it's later in the fight. When you're doing farming, you're looking to try to pretty much do the most early rounds. So targeting weapons against 2 enemy strike craft deals 154%, and I'm at level 7 standard damage, and target's next attack deals much less standard damage, and this triggers 2, 4, 6, and 8. That's kind of big. Target's next attack damage deals much less standard damage. So we don't know how much less, but it is less. And it's standard damage. Okay, so it's ship power from the officers. Okay, now let's go to the tier 2 abilities. And this is race specific. Tyrannus and Ograx damage received minus 4%. Well, if you're mono stacking Cyclops, which is their heavy unit, that Ograx's heavy unit, that's going to help. And then even at max level, it gives Ogre extra HP. This one just gives the whole battle group, that's the ship and the strike craft, extra defense. And this one, Ograx and Tyrannus strike craft, damage dealt plus 2.4%. Okay, so that's where I'm at with tier 2 abilities. Now, like I said, I am going to talk about how I would build it. And I'm not going to look at this yet. So first, unfortunately, this skill is okay, but I need it because I want this heal. This heal is huge on farming, okay? So you're going to have to max that out to get this 80% hit points. So first I'm going to go into here, and I'm kind of going to go somewhat even until I get to level 5. And that's 40%. After I get to level 5 on this, I would just go ahead and max this out and then go back and max this out. That's first. And then I'm going to put no. After I max these two out, I'm going to put 1 point in here and 1 point in here. The reason is that much less standard damage. So you're going to have 15, 10, 1, and 1. Next, I'm going to go into here and put 4 or 5 points in here. It's a decent amount of damage. Then I'm going to go over to here. If you're using Tyrannus or Ogrex troops, I'm going to do just a little bit damage reduction. I'm going to do a little bit damage buff. Not much. And then I go back into here to get more damage out of target weapons, because it's going to go up 22% each time. So that's what I'm looking at doing on those. To heal, points in here for that less damage, put a few points in here. Go here if you're using the Tyrannus or Ograx, just to get a little bit more damage reduction and a little bit damage dealt. Because again, this ship's going to be about the healing, so it's your strike craft that's going to be going the most. Now, let's talk about the tier 5 or tier 3 abilities that you get at mastery level 5. The first one, Blood and Honor, long range strike craft, damage plus 2%. Okay, well, that doesn't really agree with this stuff because I'm mono stacking. I'm getting the damage reduction, I'm getting the heal. And then over here, Ograx or Tyrannus troops buff here. So, like I said, for farming, I'm going to use a heavy tank, so this doesn't help me. Okay, Sap. Against one enemy unit, deals 10% energy damage once. And it's modified by elemental stat and inflicts stun for 1 round. And that fires off in 369. Okay, that stun is kind of nice. So, but it's also energy damage, where these two are power, are standard damage. Let's check out this top skill. Heavy strike craft damage plus 2%. So, unfortunately, like, this is a wasted skill for me. So I would probably just still keep it about the same, except I would put 1 point in here and I would put 1 point in here. I don't care about the damage, but I do care about the stun for 1 round. So that's what I would do on the mastery level 5 tier 3 abilities. Just 1 point in here, 1 point in here, and then continue back over into this area. I mean, you're trying to complicate things too much if you go this route. All I want out of this tree is that stun, and it only takes 2 points to get it, so it's worth it. So these are standard attacks, so I want ship power. Okay, I'm not worried about the damage from this. So for officers, you're going to want ship power, initiative, and maybe some unit damage or something like that. So let's take a look at some officers. Currently I'm running the blue because I don't have that many. But as I was saying, ship power and a little bit of defense works. This gives a little extra defense. We have Phoenix here, who also works, who gives even more power and defense. And then this one gives a damage reduction of 1% for close range strike craft. Which again, because I'm using it as a farming, I'm going to mono stack it with Warhammers, Morning Stars, Chimeras, or Cyclops. But I'm probably going to use Cyclops on it because of the tier 3 abilities that are race specific. So, there's two options that you have. Next one, ship power. This is all I wanted out of this. Ship power. If I can get something like, let's see, what gives a lot of ship power? Because I don't need elemental. I mean, here's Axle that gives almost the same ship power, but it gives close range strike craft damage dealt plus 1.5%. So that might be a good thing for him as well. Because, again, you're going to get a lot of your damage out of your strike craft, out of your Warhammer, Morningstar, Chimera, or Cyclops. So you're looking for ship power. Initiative is another good one. Um, let's see, do I even have a good. Like this one doesn't work because you're getting less ship power and it's damage for long units. Well, we're not using long units. This one actually might not be bad for them because you have a lot of ship power. Elemental we don't care about. It's giving us a little extra damage, and then it's also giving us initiative. Initiative is a good thing. Next, I have Fenrir because I get some ship power, I get unit defense, unit initiative, and then I get a little bit more initiative. We don't want elemental. We don't need it. Tony would be another good one. Power, defense, initiative. Let's see. Sarah wouldn't be bad either. Power, initiative, defense, and then for this skill she has 10% chance to evade damage. So there's some options for you. Just wanted to share what I thought. And then supports, I don't have many options. I don't have many. But this one focuses on elemental. That doesn't work. Only reason it's on at the moment was for the initiative and defense because I am using Lisa or Elizabeth, I mean, on somebody else that has power, health, and then it's got healing. So that's how I see DarkFang working. Again, only a farming, not a fighter. I do like the way it looks. It's kind of cool. So you want your heal. If you're up to 5, you want the stun. You want the much less standard damage. A little buff isn't bad. Here's more damage here. This one, I mean, you could, but it's only rounds 4 and 8. I think it's kind of a waste. I think you're better off just going and getting a little bit more damage out of the ship as well, so that you can take those higher tiles with them. So that's Dark Fang in a nutshell. Hope you guys liked the video, and that's all I got. So as always, make the most out of what you got.